So, they thought you'd stay down, didn't they? Thought you'd crawl, beg, maybe even shatter into tiny little pieces. They thought they could break you like a cheap toy, watch you crumble, then laugh while stepping over what's left. But what they never understood, what their little minds could never process, is that betrayal isn't the end of a strong man. No. Betrayal is the forge. It burns, it twists, it breaks the weak. But the strong, they come out harder, sharper, more dangerous than ever. And now they are going to learn what that means. You see, people love to pretend they care, pretend they're loyal, pretend they'd never hurt you. And you, poor little thing, you believed them. Because you had a heart. Because you thought loyalty meant something. Because you assumed, oh, how naive of you, that they wouldn't throw you away like a used-up cigarette the moment they got what they wanted. But here's the truth. Most people, they don't see you as a person. They see you as a tool. Something useful. Something to be used. Something to be discarded when they find something better. And when you outlive your usefulness, poof, you're gone. But here's what they didn't calculate. They didn't think you'd survive. They didn't think you'd get up. They didn't think the betrayal would fuel you, that it would carve away the softness, the foolish trust, the blind belief in people who never deserved it. They didn't think that one day they would look over their shoulders and see the very person they discarded standing tall, stronger than ever, colder than ever, and ready to collect what's owed. Because betrayal, it's a funny thing. It doesn't just end friendships, doesn't just shatter trust. It sets things in motion. It turns men into monsters, into something unrecognizable. It pulls something deep from inside, something dangerous, something that can no longer be controlled. And when that happens, oh, that's when the fun begins. You thought they'd feel guilty, didn't you? Thought they'd regret it. Thought they'd lose sleep. Ha! Let me tell you something about people like them. They don't lose sleep. They don't regret. They move on like nothing happened. Because in their little world, in their tiny little minds, they were justified. Maybe they told themselves, you deserved it. Maybe they convinced themselves they had no choice. Maybe they even laughed about it afterward, thinking, that idiot will never recover from this. But you know what they never considered? The price, the cost of betraying someone who was real. Because in their arrogance, in their stupidity, they assumed that once you were gone, that was the end of it. They assumed they could walk away unharmed, untouched, unchanged. They assumed the universe doesn't keep score. Because people like you, people who have been betrayed, broken, left for dead, you don't disappear. You don't fade. You become something else. You become a lesson, a force, a shadow that lingers, and they will feel it. Oh, they will feel it. You see, what they don't understand, what they never understood, is that some people, once they are broken, never return to who they were. And that is where their mistake lies. Because once you stop caring, once you stop believing in their lies, once you wake up and see the world for what it truly is, you become the thing they fear the most. You become someone who cannot be manipulated, someone who cannot be controlled, someone who cannot be broken ever again. And do you know what happens when a person stops being afraid? When they stop feeling the need to please, to trust, to wait for apologies that will never come? They become something else entirely. They become dangerous. Not because they seek revenge. Oh, no, no, no. Revenge is too small, too predictable. No, they become dangerous because they start moving differently, thinking differently, living differently. They start building something new, something unstoppable. And the people who betrayed them, they have to live with that. They have to live with the knowledge that they created the very thing that will haunt them. Because you, my dear, you are not the same anymore. That old version of you, the one who trusted, the one who loved without question, the one who believed people wouldn't stab him in the back, that version is gone, dead. And in its place stands something else. Something colder, sharper, untouchable. And the best part? The best part. Ha 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 ha. They will look for you in others. They will try to replace you. They will search for someone who had your loyalty, your strength, your presence. But guess what? No one else will ever compare. No one else will ever be what you were. And when they realize it, when they finally see the weight of what they lost, it will be too late. They will regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day they will sit in their empty little lives and think back to the one person who was real. Think back to the one person who actually gave a damn. And they will know, deep in their bones, in their soul, they will know they destroyed the best thing they ever had. And you won't even be there to see it. You'll be gone, thriving, building, becoming something greater than they ever imagined. Because you, my friend, are not the victim of their betrayal. You are the consequence. And that is what they will never escape. But you see, people like them, they don't think past the moment. They don't calculate the long game. They live for the instant, the quick win, the temporary pleasure of watching someone else fall while they climb over them. They are the type that trade diamonds for dust, that step over gold, thinking it's just another rock. And that's the flaw in them, the disease that rots their minds. They believe that because they won today, they will win forever. But forever is a long time, my dear. And fate, well, fate has a way of correcting mistakes. You might think that their actions were planned, that they schemed this betrayal for months, that they carefully constructed the moment where they would cut you down. But the truth is, most betrayals are not masterpieces of genius. No, they are clumsy, short-sighted, fueled by selfishness rather than strategy. They acted because it was easy, because at the time, they thought they had nothing to lose, because they assumed you would remain broken, would never rise, would never be in a position to make them regret. But here's the thing. Every action has a cost, and that cost is coming. Slowly, surely, like a shadow creeping closer when they least expect it. They think they got away. They think they walked free. They think they escaped what was coming to them. But oh, how wrong they are. Because people like you do not stay fallen. You do not stay defeated. You are the kind that turns wounds into wisdom, pain into power, losses into lessons. They saw your kindness as weakness, mistook your patience for stupidity, believed your loyalty was an unbreakable chain they could yank whenever they pleased. But all they did, all they truly did, was carve away the illusion. They forced you to see the world for what it really is. They stripped away the last pieces of naivety left in you. And in doing so, they created something far more dangerous than they could ever handle. You see, betrayal doesn't just hurt. It transforms. It rewires the way you think. It rewrites the rules of your world. It teaches you lessons you never wanted to learn, truths you never wanted to face. And once you've seen those truths, once you've learned what people are really capable of, you don't unsee it. You don't go back. The version of you that trusted them, that forgave too easily, that gave them chance after chance, that version is gone. They killed it. And in its place stands something colder, sharper, more calculating. They will search for you in others. They will. They will look for someone with your fire, your strength, your presence, but all they will find are pale imitations, empty echoes of what they once had, and it will drive them mad. Because nothing will ever compare to the person they threw away. And that realization, that moment when it finally hits them, it will break them in ways you could never imagine. Because regret is a slow poison. It doesn't strike immediately. It drips little by little, creeping into their mind on quiet nights, whispering in the silence, reminding them of what they lost. And when they reach out, when they try to find their way back, when they send messages laced with half-hearted apologies and empty words, what will they find? Nothing. Just the cold, unforgiving absence of someone who no longer cares. And that, my dear, is when they will truly understand what they have done. Because you see, they thought the worst pain you could feel was betrayal. But the worst pain they will feel is knowing that they created their own suffering. That they, with their own hands, destroyed something priceless, that they will live with the weight of that mistake for the rest of their lives. And you won't even need revenge. You won't even need to look back, because their punishment is knowing that they can never go back. You will move forward. You will build. You will thrive. And they will rot in the ruins of their own choices. And that, my dear, is what they never saw coming. But do you feel it now? That shift inside you? That moment where the pain stops being just pain and starts turning into something else, something colder, something stronger, something untouchable. Because that's what betrayal does. It forces you to evolve. It drags you through the fire, through the torment, through the kind of suffering that cracks weak men into dust and rebuilds the strong into something unrecognizable. And that's where you are now, standing at the edge, looking back at the wreckage they left behind, realizing that the person who fell all those nights ago is no longer the one standing here. They had no idea what they were creating when they stabbed you in the back. They thought they were ending something, but in reality, they were setting something in motion, a process, a transformation. They mistook the sound of your breaking for the sound of their victory. How foolish they were, because real pain, real betrayal, it doesn't just break, it reshapes. It strips away illusions, burns off the weakness, and hardens you into something else. And now they will see what that means. Because do you know what happens to a man who no longer fears pain, who no longer trusts blindly, who no longer waits for apologies that will never come? He becomes untouchable. And that, my dear, is the worst thing that could have ever happened to them. They needed you to be soft, to be forgiving, to be willing to take them back when they decided they wanted to return. But they don't understand what happens when a person sees the truth, when a person stops lying to themselves about who others are. They think time will heal this. They think that one day you will forget, that you will be the same person, waiting in the same place, ready to hear their excuses. But that person is dead. They buried him the day they chose to betray. And now they have to live with what they have done. They have to wake up every day knowing that they will never find another like you. They will try. They will try. They will chase distractions, drown themselves in temporary replacements, convince themselves that they made the right choice. But in the quiet moments, in the spaces between their shallow little victories, the truth will creep in. The truth that they lost something irreplaceable, that they gambled away someone who would have stood by them through anything, that they took a rare thing and threw it away as if it were nothing. And regret, oh, regret is a slow and cruel tormentor. It doesn't strike all at once. No, it comes in waves, creeping into their mind in the dead of night, whispering in the silence, wrapping around their thoughts like chains they can never break. They will remember the way you stood by them, the way you believed in them, the way you gave them something real in a world full of masks and false faces. And they will know, deep in their bones, in their soul, that they will never have that again. But you won't even be there to see it. You won't need to witness their suffering, won't need to hear their apologies, won't need to entertain their pathetic attempts at redemption. Because by then, you will have outgrown all of this. You will have stepped into a new version of yourself, one that does not look back, one that does not wait, one that no longer carries the weight of people who were never worthy to begin with. And that is where your true power lies. Not in revenge, not in proving them wrong, not in wasting another second wondering why they did what they did. Your power lies in the fact that they are already paying the price. Every single day, every single moment, they are living in the hell they created for themselves. They thought betraying you would set them free. Instead, it chained them to their own regret. They thought they could replace you. Instead, they will spend their days haunted by the fact that no one will ever be you. And that, my dear, that is the cost they never saw coming. But here's the irony, the delicious, brutal irony that they will choke on for the rest of their miserable little existence. They had everything and didn't even realize it. They had loyalty, they had truth, they had someone who actually gave a damn in a world where most people are just waiting for an opportunity to stab you in the back. And what did they do? They threw it away like it was nothing, like you were nothing. But life, life has a funny way of correcting mistakes, doesn't it? Because here's the thing, people like them, they don't realize the value of what they had until it's too late. They're short-sighted, arrogant, blinded by their own selfishness. They always assume there will be another chance, another way back, another version of you just waiting in the shadows, desperate to replace what they destroyed. But the truth is that real people, real loyalty, real connections, they don't come twice. You were one of a kind, and they, in their stupidity, in their greed, in their absolute ignorance, thought they could just find another. But they will learn. They will learn in the worst way possible. They will search. They will seek. They will go through person after person, relationship after relationship, conversation after conversation, looking for even a shred of what they once had with you. And do you know what they will find? Nothing. Just emptiness, just ghosts, just shadows of what they once had. And that realization, that slow, creeping, inescapable realization that they ruined the best thing they ever had, that will eat them alive. Because, my dear, regret is not a single blow. It's not an instant punishment. No, no, no. It's slow. It's a poison that seeps in little by little, unnoticed at first, until one day they wake up and everything around them feels hollow. Every laugh sounds fake. Every conversation feels forced. Every new person they meet seems shallow in comparison. And that's when it hits them. That's when the weight of what they've done slams into them with full force. Because you see, betrayal is not just about what they did to you. It's about what they did to themselves. They didn't just lose you. They lost themselves. Because the moment they chose to betray someone real, the moment they threw away something genuine, they set themselves on a path of emptiness. They ensured that from that moment forward, they would always be searching, always be wanting, always be trying to fill a void that can never be filled. And you won't even be there to see it. You won't need to be, because you will have moved on. You will have risen above it. You will have become something they can no longer reach, no longer touch, no longer or hurt. And that, my dear, that is the cruelest punishment of all, because they thought they had the power. They thought they were in control. They thought they could walk away and never look back. But the reality is, you were the only thing that ever made them whole. And now they have to live with the fact that they will never be whole again. And that is a fate worse than anything you could have ever wished upon them. That is the price they will pay every single day, every single night, for the rest of their hollow, empty, meaningless lives. But here's the part they'll never admit, the part that will rot them from the inside out, the part that will keep them awake at night, staring at the ceiling, trapped in the silence of their own making. They thought they could replace you. They were so sure, so damn confident that they could just swap you out like a broken piece of furniture, that they could move on without a scratch, without a second thought, without consequence. And maybe for a while they convinced themselves it was true. Maybe they filled the void with distractions, with empty faces, with shallow conversations that barely scratched the surface of what they once had with you. But time has a way of tearing down illusions. Time has a way of stripping away the lies we tell ourselves. And when the distractions fade, when the replacements fall apart, when the new faces lose their shine, that's when reality comes crashing down. And the reality is this: they lost something they will never find again. They lost someone who was real in a world full of fakes, someone who saw them, truly saw them, in a way no one else ever will, someone who gave a damn. And now they are alone in a crowd, surrounded by people who will never care for them the way you did. People who will never show up when it matters. People who will never go to war for them the way you would have. And that emptiness, that quiet, creeping, suffocating emptiness, it will follow them for the rest of their lives. Oh, but they won't admit it. No, they will pretend. They will put on the mask. They will smile. They will laugh. They will act as if nothing is missing. But inside, they are screaming. Inside, they are choking on the weight of their own choices. Because they know. Deep down, in the place they don't let anyone see, they know they made the biggest mistake of their life. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, they can't undo it. There's no reset button, no second chance, no way back. The door they walked through so carelessly, so arrogantly, is now locked forever. And you are gone. Not just physically, not just in distance, but in a way that truly matters. In a way that means they can never reach you again, because you have become untouchable. You have risen beyond their reach. You have built yourself into something they can no longer approach with their empty apologies and weak justifications. And that is the part that will haunt them the most. Because they didn't just betray you, they betrayed the one person who actually cared. And now they are drowning in a sea of people who don't give a damn about them. They are surrounded by faces that will never look at them the way you once did, by voices that will never speak their name with the same loyalty, the same fire, the same truth. And no matter where they go, no matter what they do, no matter how much they try to forget, you will always be there. Not in their life, no, but in their mind, in the back of their thoughts, in the spaces between their breaths. A ghost that never leaves, a lesson they will never escape, a reminder of everything they lost and will never get back. Because this is what betrayal truly costs. Not just the person they betrayed, not just the friendship or the love they threw away. No, betrayal costs peace. It costs clarity. It costs the ability to look in the mirror without seeing the consequences of what they've done. And they have to live with that. They have to carry that weight. They have to wake up every single day knowing they destroyed something irreplaceable. And that is a burden they will never be able to put down. They thought they were winning. They thought they were walking away unscathed. But the truth is that they condemned themselves to a life of searching for something they will never find again. And that is the price of betraying someone who is real. A price they will pay for the rest of their days, with every breath, with every heartbeat, with every silent moment where the weight of their choices crashes down on them like a storm they can never outrun. How they will try to run from it, how they will scramble, desperate to escape the weight pressing down on their chest, clawing for anything, anyone that might dull the ache, that might silence the voice in their head whispering that they have ruined something irreplaceable. They will jump from distraction to distraction, drowning themselves in meaningless conversations, empty relationships, shallow victories. But here's the thing about regret. It doesn't care how fast you run. It doesn't care how many people you surround yourself with. It doesn't care how much noise you create to drown it out. It always finds you, and when it does, it doesn't whisper. It roars. Because regret is not a momentary pain. It's not a single sharp stab that fades over time. No, regret is a parasite. It burrows deep, coils itself around the mind, feeds off memories that can't be undone. And it doesn't kill quickly. Oh, no. It lingers. It festers. It takes its time, slowly poisoning everything around it until even their greatest moments feel hollow, until even their happiest days are tainted by the shadow of what they lost. And they will feel it. Oh, they will feel it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, when the noise dies down, when the distractions run dry, when they are left alone with nothing but their thoughts, it will come for them. The realization, the understanding, the undeniable, inescapable truth that they gambled with something priceless and lost, that they traded something real for an illusion, for something fleeting, something disposable, that they walked away from the one person who would have stood by them through anything, who would have fought for them when no one else would, who would have given them the kind of loyalty this world doesn't offer twice. And that's when it will hit them. That's when the weight of it all will crush them in ways they never expected. Not in a dramatic moment, not in some grand revelation, but in the quietest, loneliest spaces of their life. The empty bed, the silent car ride, the moments where the world slows down just enough for them to hear their own thoughts, where they can no longer outrun the truth. They destroyed something they can never get back. And no matter how much they wish, no matter how much they beg, no matter how much they pray for a second chance, there won't be one. Because here's what they never considered, what their arrogance never allowed them to see. When you break something truly valuable, it doesn't get fixed. When you betray someone who was real, you don't just lose them for a moment, you lose them forever. And that loss, that emptiness, that cold realization that they will never again experience what they once had, that is what will haunt them. That is the ghost they will never escape. And you? You will not be there to watch it. You will not be there to hear their apologies, their excuses, their desperate attempts to rewrite history, because by the time they realize what they've done, you will be long gone. Not just in distance, not just in time, but in a way that truly matters. You will have outgrown them. You will have evolved past them. They will still be trapped in the wreckage of their choices, but you will be building something new. Something stronger, something that no longer has a place for people like them. And that is the final price of their betrayal. Not just the regret, not just the pain, not just the slow, torturous realization of what they lost. No, the final, most crushing cost is knowing that while they are stuck drowning in their own mistakes, you will be thriving without them. And that, my dear, is a punishment they will never escape. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever.